Today I'm going to talk about pile splits and specifically the notion of us winning or trying not to lose a particular split. Talking splits in a two-player game, I think it's more relevant often is you're trying to take more of a particular card than your opponent, and most piles are 10 cards, and you're going to be trying to take 6, 7, if you're really good about it, 8 of them. And the reason you're trying to do this is because whatever card you're targeting, winning or losing the split of, is representing a limited resource on the board. It's the only village, it's the only draw, it's the only source of gains. Maybe it's the only cost reduction. That one's a bit more common. It's the only cost reduction. Anyways, there's this saying that was being popularized however long ago that was splits don't matter. And I think there's some reason behind this notion, splits don't matter. And the reason is like you can't place everything on winning a split. Like you have to have a good deck with it. If you're trying to win this village split, I don't think you should be going after village. Maybe you're going to open ironworks and a silver, and then on every opportunity you're going to gain or buy a village. That doesn't actually make sense. Yes, it'll maybe make it so that your opponent only has 3 villages, but at the same time your deck's going to stink. It was really only good at gaining villages, and now your deck doesn't work. So you still have to be building a good deck, but splits do often matter, and specifically maybe talk a little bit about when. The biggest one is that winning a split, having more of a card, will give you substantially more deck potential. This is kind of nebulous, but we can give some examples. I think the biggest one is cost reduction, especially when you're talking about when you're talking about plus buy as the thing you're using to take advantage of cost reduction. Things are reduced 6 for you versus only 4 for your opponent. That means provinces cost 2 for you and 4 for your opponent, and so you can buy twice as many provinces on the same amount of money. You can buy however many duchies, they're free, your opponent has to pay for them. And so having more cost reduction when it's a plus buy is important. On the other hand, maybe you're doing cost reduction for up to 4 cost gainer, and that doesn't matter quite as much, right? You only need to get 4 of them ever. That kind of, is this last one extreme splits. Sometimes, 4 is okay, maybe 3 is okay, but 2 is not. And those are kind of harder to do, because usually if you're able to win a split 7-3, 8-2, you were so ahead to begin with that it doesn't really matter. But sometimes it happens. Sometimes you can't be only taking 2 of something. You really have to get a 3rd or 4th. But going back to substantially more deck potential, this is also the case, I guess, with these other 3. We talk about limited resources on a village. Strong terminal payload card. Maybe you can play more remodels if you have more villages, and that's going to make it easier to empty the provinces, and that's more deck potential. Draw. If it's going to be treasure payload, you need to be drawing a lot in order to spend all of the treasures that you would like. Gains, of course, gives you a little bit more reach in the end game. So if I have 6 buys to my opponent's 4, or I guess it would be 7 to 5, I can do a little bit more. And then maybe less important than this is also you can consider consistency concerns, particularly on village and draw. If I have 6 villages or I have 6 draw cards compared to my opponent's 4, I certainly have more potential not more potential. My deck is going to be a little bit more stable. It's easier to find these things, so especially if we get into kind of an extended greening phase. Having that split's going to really matter, just because it's going to make it so that more of my turns work, and hopefully I can take advantage of that in the end.